It's a beautiful day in Houston, Texas to crown a new featherweight champ here at Fury FC 97. But first, we have a stacked prelims card featuring some of the best amateurs and pros right here from the city of Houston and surrounding areas. And welcome in, I'm Mehul Ramzanali, joined by the black belt himself, Michael Alexander, and UFC veteran Alex Morono. And let's get things started by talking about this fun prelims card. Alex, you're going to be a busy man today, but tell me which fighters you're excited about because you're cornering some of them.
Yeah, I got fights to corner. It's a pro-am prelim, so we got some awesome amateurs, some guys making their debut. But we have the heavyweight pros, and we have my guy, Killshot, Joe Hendershot. Been training with me since he was 9 years old. He's 21 now, so He's always one of my favorite guys to corner.
Such an exciting fighter. And then we also, as Alex mentioned, we do have some pros on the card, including a man, when he walks in, just steals the room because it's Miles Banks. He's one of the biggest heavyweights and one of the more exciting ones as well.
Yeah, Miles Banks, a former professional athlete, now here as an athlete with us. He is a giant human, and this is going to be a big fight for him against Zachary Bradshaw. Always good when you see heavyweights on the card.
Well, let's get things started. We've got 8 amateur fights for you and then 3 pro prelims as well. So it's going to be a busy broadcast, and we're going to throw it into our 4th member of the broadcast crew, the best dressed man in MMA, the Fury FC Hall of Famer, Wayne Leggett.
Good afternoon, fight fans, and welcome to Escapade at Imagine Venues. This is Fury FC 97, Endrick Joni versus Torres. But first, please welcome to the blue corner for your opening preliminary contest, Derek Pierce.
All right, Derek Pierce, first fighter out, coming in with a 1-3 record. Does have that quick KO of Gabriel Antonio as his 1 win. The 36-year-old, you know, he loves to fight, and that's the best thing. When you talk about these amateurs, there better be a love, especially at 36.
Yeah, and whenever you've won a fight in 9 seconds, I mean, you know that's a capability. So anytime you come in here, you know, despite what the record is, how many fights you have, you know you have that ability to end a fight very, very quickly, Alex.
Yeah, and it wasn't that he won a fight in 9 seconds. He won his first fight in 9 seconds. So everyone was instantly on high alert. And the way he won is his pre-fight energy was otherworldly. It's something to go back and watch on Fury's library. But man, he had the high energy. He runs across the cage, breaks the guy's nose, knocks him out in 10 seconds. Has tried that ever since, but his opponents have been super hip to it. And just to show, you know, how down Derek Pierce is to fight, as you were saying, Raheel, one of his losses is against Gage Harper, who just contended for the belt in a very competitive title fight. So he's fought some pretty tough guys, and pretty much every fight since his debut, the guys have got him to the ground and beat him there because they just don't want to deal with the absolute insanity that is the first 30 seconds of any Derek Pierce fight. He's so much fun to watch.
The Contractor, one of my favorite nicknames, fighting out of Crystal Beach, Texas. The only Crystal Beach fighter that is on this Fury FC amateur roster. I love going to Crystal Beach, special place in my heart, so love seeing Derek Pierce. He is inside. Let's meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, John Salinas.
John Salinas, coming off his debut loss. The Marine is back inside the cage, and he has been working and fixing some big mistakes. You know, he debuted in front of his hometown crowd out in Rosenberg, so that was a lot of pressure for him.
Yeah, I remember that fight. It was actually against one of my guys who was also debuting, and Raheel and I were there. Mike was doing his basket weaving that day.
Right.
Yep,
that was one of the most violent, brutal cards ever, and he was the opening contest. Very fun, very competitive. Made it to the 3rd round, and that fight was at 135 pounds, and he's very strong and muscular. But it's good to see him back down as a flyweight now at 125 pounds. I believe this fight was actually a catch at 130, but he's making that descent down. You see he's muscular. I've been looking forward to seeing him fight ever since that debut.
Yeah, and every time I see these guys, last time I saw John Salinas, I was watching that card, and I was like, there is no way this dude is a flyweight. There's no way. He's so big for 125, Alex.
Yeah, very muscular, and you know, it was really a great matchup. Both guys were relatively green. I think, you know, a white belt and a blue belt. No striking experience, you know, formally for either of them other than just training. You know, comes from a great gym with Strong Style, they have several guys fighting on tonight's card. You know it's always fun when you have teammates to train alongside of.
We look at our tail of the tape, brought to you by Live Oak Texas Vodka. The reach advantage, height advantage goes to the 36-year-old Derek Pierce for this 130 catch weight bout. Both fighters are inside, and Pierce is menacing. Look at that stare. Let's get our official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, your opening preliminary contest brought to you by Live Oak Texas Vodka is scheduled for 3 rounds at a Fury Amateur Series catch weight of 130 pounds. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, and he weighed in at 131.8 pounds. Fighting out of Crystal Beach, Texas, today he looks for his 2nd win as an amateur. Here is Derek, the Contractor Pierce. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 4 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 128.4 pounds. Fighting out of Rosenberg, Texas, today he seeks his 1st win as an amateur. Here is John Salinas. Your referee in charge of the action, Danielle Guevara.
The Contractor in blue gloves, John Salinas in the red gloves. Look for a fast start for Pierce.
Oh, nice high kick there from Salinas. Oh, big right-hand counter from Derek Pierce. Looks for an up kick.
Derek Pierce is the most reactional fight. Has the best reactions to being knocked down. Immediately up kicked and went up to the top of his head almost. He kicked so hard.
After a backward somersault.
Yeah. Looked like a breakdancer at the Olympics.
Notice, but Derek Pierce proud of his Fury tenure here. He's got the big Fury tattoo on his forearm. I think that's got to be new.
Oh wow, yeah. Good eyes there. The Contractor is a company man. I love it.
Well, you know, that's just to let everybody else know.
Yeah, at Crystal Beach.
Yeah, he don't want
at the ship's wheel, which is the big watering hole down there. You want to show that Fury Fury tattoo. No one's messing with you there.
I think we may see a back take here from Salinas, just the way Derek's grabbing. Oh, he hits a reversal. Almost.
Whoa.
Almost hit a reversal. See, he's got some back exposure. He needs to let that head go and just pendulum his hips and bust a 180 and then try to get up to his feet.
Yeah, Alex, and he actually, with his left arm, he has the other arm pinned of Salinas. If he had actually rolled him the other way, he'd probably have better luck because he won't have a post on that side. Salinas has put it in front of him now, so a little bit more difficult.
Just put some heavy shoulder pressure. I mean, this is just a good, strong cross face.
As you mentioned, Alex, John Salinas fighting out of Strong Style MMA. 2 more fighters on this card, Damien Nunez and also Mehul. Somaroutu. Yeah, Mehul.
I like Mehul, man.
Mehul's he's a firecracker. He's coming up in a couple of fights as well, 3 fights, excuse me. But yeah, busy day for Strong Style MMA coach Richard Burmaster. He's also our coach as well, as VP and head matchmaker.
Yep, and a good one he is on both.
Yeah, he could be better.
Yeah.
He could do better on our side. I love Rich.
So anyone who maybe does jiu-jitsu and wants to do MMA, you need to understand the grappling is so different because it's simplified and super intensified. And notice that the big ground pound here from Salinas.
Oh, man. Big flush right connect.
Just got to watch the up kicks and the low kicks, I suppose. Oh. My man, the Contractor, loves doing damage. But the difference is the Contractor was just really grabbing him to hold him close to mitigate potential range for strikes. It's such a different reaction grappling in MMA and grappling in jiu-jitsu. I mean, guys are always grabbing around your head, grabbing at your arms, overhooking, just keeping you close so you can't posture and punch. It really hinders the transition potential for both fighters. That was that right hand that dropped him into that backwards somersault up kick.
Yeah, Derek Pierce is always very exciting to watch, and he's even as the bell rang to end the round, he goes over to his stool. He's very intense going over to his stool, refuses to sit. Actually, he didn't even sit down on the stool. They knew better to even bring it in. It's not even in the cage.
I mean, this is his 5th fight now. He's starting to become a pretty seasoned amateur.
Yeah, and I think he showed that. He took the damage well. It didn't really seem to affect him. It knocked him down, but it didn't really seem to affect him much on the ground.
Let's see if Pierce can avoid going to the ground in round 2. Definitely does his best work standing. Up against the cage, now we go.
For a gilly.
And he's to throw that leg over the back of Salinas.
Yeah, and make sure the choking arm is in position.
Yeah.
We saw the
Probably
idea,
the most important part.
Yeah, so there's 2 like heavy aspects to guillotines. The upper body grip, the front headlock, and then the, nice reversal there. And then the lower body control, which is getting the non-choking side leg around the waist. And you saw Salinas go cross body. Now this is probably tight and uncomfortable, but he's not gonna have leverage to choke him to sleep.
Pierce going back to this position that we saw in round 1. Trying to hold him tight down to his body, but like you said, Alex, both hands are free on John Salinas. So, well, his left hand is free, his right arm is just about to get out of there.
Side control for Salinas.
Transitions to mount.
Yeah, Salinas, plenty of time here. Salinas is good. Just wear him out just a little bit.
Exactly. Let him bridge like that.
Oh, big punches raining down.
Yeah, we're going to see TKO. I mean, we're going to see TKO.
This is getting close, and that is it.
Finish.
John Salinas gets the finish. Derek Pierce not happy with that. He was arguing that his shell was still in place, but
I mean but that just blocking is not defending. I mean, he didn't bridge. You got to hip escape. You got to push the hips. I mean,
yeah, not exactly sure. I mean, I think everybody in the room knew that was going to be a stoppage if he stayed in that position. Apparently, except for Derek Pierce.
Perhaps when he watches it back, it maybe looked worse than what he was feeling. And like, if that's the case, I can appreciate that from the perspective of Pierce. But you know, you gotta bridge, you gotta bump, you gotta grab. You know, that must have been probably 20 strikes.
Yeah, and they were hard punches.
Yeah, he's fully postured.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, there's... Yeah. Derek Pierce not happy at all.
Yeah, those last 8 or 10 punches didn't seem to be connecting that well, but I guess it had already started. I mean, I kind of see
so
where...
I believe they weren't like hitting him clean or doing like heavy damage. But I think it was his body language and just like not moving his head or his hips.
Yeah, I think 100 times out of 100, that's a stoppage. I mean, they're going to sit in there, especially as an amateur.
Yeah.
They're not going to let you take a ton of damage as an amateur. And, you know, even though it's, you know, obviously he jumped right up. He could have kept going, but it would have just been more of the same. He wasn't showing in any way that he was going to be able to get out of that mount.
All right, let's make things official. Here's Wade.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes 1 minute, 36 seconds into round number 2. Declaring your winner by TKO, John Salinas.
Congratulations to John Salinas. Gets his first win as an amateur. Hope to see him back inside here very soon. All right, let's keep things moving and meet our next fighter.
Please welcome Reece Machen to the blue corner.
Reece Machen making his debut as a fighter fighting out of Ohana Academy in San Antonio. Love our friends at Ohana Academy.
Yes.
The 26-year-old making the walk in this featherweight bout.
Yeah, of course, the debut, you know, where I love debuts, probably more than anything on our prelim fights, just because we never know when we're seeing the next big thing. And so, you know, seeing Reece, we know it looks like he's got all the tools, and he's got a special thing happening in his personal life. He's fighting today to honor Adkison, his best friend's father, who passed during his fight camp, and to honor Mabel Jane, his niece, who will be born on October 6th. So a lot of purpose in here, coming in here in his debut.
Yep, that's today, October 6th.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything is going well. That's awesome to hear. And, you know, he was telling us he hates it when people ask him, hey, are you ready to fight? He's ready to fight anytime. Like, he just has that attitude and energy, and he is inside. So let's meet his opponent so we can get him fighting.
Yeah.
Please welcome Oscar Villanueva to the red corner.
Oscar Villanueva also making the debut. See, fighting out of Baytown, Texas. And for Oscar, he's very proud of all the accomplishments he's already had. Loves training, 4-stripe blue belt. Hopefully moving on here pretty soon. And he just is so pumped to make this debut.
Yeah, and anytime somebody writes on their information sheet they're a 4-stripe blue belt, they're hoping to get a submission today and that coach to give him that purple belt inside the cage. And hopefully that happens. He's an anime fan. I don't know what any of this means, but his favorite fighter is Alexander Volkanovski. And if he is able to mimic the style and the excitement of Alexander Volkanovski, we're in for a good one today.
Training out at Elite MMA. Once called Mission, Texas home. But now, as I mentioned, Baytown, just about 15 minutes from here, not too far. Oscar weighed in yesterday at 145. The 23-year-old had a successful weight cut. That's good for him. And we look at our tail of the tape, 5'5" for Oscar, 5'9" for Reece Machen. 26 years old, also has that big reach advantage. Our tail of the tape for this fight brought to you by Howler Head Whiskey. Let's get our official introductions.
Ladies, as brought to you by Howler Head Whiskey, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Featherweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, and he weighed in at a perfect 145 pounds. Fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, by way of Nashville, Tennessee. Today, he makes his amateur debut. Here is Reece Machen. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, and he too weighed in at a perfect 145 pounds. Fighting out of Baytown, Texas, today he too makes his amateur debut. Here is Oscar Villanueva. Your referee in charge of the action, JJ Ferraro.
All right, JJ Ferraro with the assignment, second fight. We've got 8 total amateur fights for you, 3 pro fights. Instantly we go to the ground here.
Yeah, Villanueva obviously wanting to show off that ground game right off the bat with like a linebacker tackle from across the cage. Takes off running at Reece Machen.
Yeah, Reece looks really big for 145, right?
I can't tell if he's really big or if Oscar's maybe a little small for 145, but yeah, there is a definite size difference in here.
Break, and to the center we go. By the way, Reece in those blue gloves, Oscar in the red.
Both guys, a lot of anticipation from both guys. You see a lot of pinned up energy in these guys.
First fight energy is real right now.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it makes it worse when you're both debuts, because not only do you have it about yourself, there's no tape on the other one either.
Yeah. They're just like us. We're just looking for an Instagram and trying to find something. Halfway point. Sorry, Michael.
No, good. You're both guys kind of throwing just single punches there. Nice double leg elevated slam from Oscar Villanueva. Tries to get the mount.
Slips
very
over.
Quick, yeah, very quick reaction there from Reece.
Talking about the assisted knee there, just clean it up a little bit.
It's always tough as an amateur that, you know, the modifications they make to the rules about assisted knees and pulling your opponent into the, you know, into your knees. I mean, it's always a tough transition to make, because surely he's sparring with pros. They're practicing it, and it just comes naturally in practice. Not a lot of knees in practice, but still the motions are being done.
Ooh, good high kick, just misses, followed up by a right for Machen. 30 seconds left. Round one.
Ooh, big left from Villanueva. Got a little recognition there from Machen. Nice right hand by Oscar right there at the end of the round. All right. First round jitters of the debut out of the way.
Yeah, definitely going to be, I think, a more settled down second round. But first, let's take a look at our highlights for round one.
Yeah, the story of round one is these two big takedowns from Oscar Villanueva. I mean, I think he controlled a little bit of the time on there. He also landed some big punches on the feet. You know, very close round. Didn't do much damage, but, you know, even that being said, neither guy did any damage. So I think those big takedowns are the difference in round one. I think that's an Oscar Villanueva round.
For Reece, he wants to fight professionally. That is his goal. You know, some guys will fight to fight, and they love it. But when you have a guy who knows, like, a clear path, especially a guy that has been watching Fury, and he knows that you can go from debut to the UFC to 4-1 in the UFC like Josh Van in a span of 4 years.
Yeah.
So it is very possible.
Yeah, if you're a new MMA fighter and
man,
big right hand.
Oh wow, look at that power from Reece.
Yeah, Reece trying not to chamber that knee. You can tell he wanted to. Oscar back on his feet.
Another big one for Machen.
Yeah, it looks like adjustments that have been made, and you know, this just tells you what kind of fighter he is and what kind of student he is. Reece Machen.
So he did tell it's Machen, like the month. Yeah, that I was looking at my notes. I was like, I remember him telling us. So sorry, Reece. I think I was saying it wrong too earlier.
I was saying it right, and then I changed it because I was like, surely Raheel knows this.
Yeah, that was my fault. I checked my notes. I was like, it says Machen. So that's on me, Reece. So don't hit me with that big right like you just did against Oscar. Oscar Villanueva now in a lot of trouble. 1 minute gone.
Yeah, nice adjustments here from Reece Machen into round two. Oscar not able to close the distance here. You can see those punches and kicks are slowing down quite a bit. Oscar closes the distance here. Undoubtedly would rather have this fight on the ground. Definitely
reaching now with that right is Reece, and maybe that is some of that. Hey, endurance, cardio might have been blown a little bit. That's a big action-packed minute and a half there.
Yeah, Oscar Villanueva firing back with a two-punch combination himself, landing that overhand right. Reece Machen, the longer of the two fighters, needs to use that jab a little more, trying to make sure Oscar stays out of that pocket, because it is in that pocket where those takedowns are initiated. See, both guys are feeling the gas a little bit from that exciting first round and the first part of this round.
Under 30 seconds now. Oh, man, good connect there from both guys. But it looks like Oscar took the worst of the exchange.
Yeah, Oscar was hurt, and you could see it visibly on his face. That shot was a purely defensive shot. He's going to try to get this last 10 seconds gone, because that definitely hurt him right there at the end of round 2. Just a couple seconds left, but talk to me, this is a 1-to-1 fight so far. A round apiece. Oscar Villanueva doing a good job of being able to withstand that last 30 seconds, because he took a big right hand from Reece Machen, and it almost put him down.
We see that stand-up starting things off for Reece Machen.
Yeah, Oscar turned his back and almost, I mean, that's a big no-no. So luckily he turned around really, really quick, because then if you're face down and the guy who just hit you is behind you, they're usually going to stop that. But not the case here. Oscar did a good job of surviving that round there at the end. They didn't show up. There's another big shot there at the end. Oscar shot in again, got it to the ground, was able to survive the last 30 seconds, but one round apiece. And not exactly sure what these guys were pointing at. They were something to do with somebody's toe.
Let me count them.
Yeah.
No, see, 20 total toes. So
yep.
Hopefully we're good.
See the debut third round for both fighters. And no matter who wins this, I mean, I think this is best case scenario for both fighters. You know, of course, they would love to get a quick knockout or a quick finish. But, you know, getting 3 rounds of experience in your first fight is
man.
Big double leg takedown there from Oscar Villanueva.
Oh, and Reece almost made that cardinal sin, posting with that off elbow, and that could have been bad. We've seen it happen before. When you're getting slammed, please don't post. It's usually your left elbow that's good. It's going to snap or pop out.
Yeah, we've seen a pretty nasty injury from that in Dallas. Well, we thought the guy would never fight again, and 8 weeks later we look and he's on somebody's card.
Yeah. Man, why am I blanking on his name?
I just had
the best dancer in MMA. Yes. Remember, he would always dance out.
Yeah, him and his brother both were on a roster.
Oh, big punches there for Reece Machen.
Yeah, good hips by Oscar Villanueva. Reece thought he was going to suplex him and maybe use the momentum to come up on top. And good hip movement from Oscar. He's back on top now and needs to deal out some punishment here.
Oh, big up kick.
Oscar needs to push that knee down and get over that knee.
Man, I don't want to use my Instagram to look up that guy's name. I'm thinking so hard. From Oklahoma. He and his brother, as you mentioned, have been on Fury cards.
It'll come to me in a minute.
I know, same.
Because I was just thinking of it.
His first name starts with an M. Remember that. Good break there. Trying to get some big punches here. Oscar Villanueva in great position. 45 seconds left in this fight. Raining down shots of terror.
Man, he is wanting to finish this. and he is right in front of his coaches, and he is extra fired up. There's 28 seconds left. He wants to finish this. And man, what a surprise after the way round 2 went. Oscar Villanueva bouncing back here. I mean, a dominant third round.
10 seconds left. Just has to hold on here. He should be riding his way to his first win as an amateur. Oscar Villanueva, good third round.
Wow.
Man, what a response.
Yeah, Oscar Villanueva, depending on his wrestling here, really good wrestling, really good ground and pound there in the third. Reece Machen not having an answer for that takedown in the third round, but man, after the second round, it just felt like Oscar just had nothing left in the tank. He comes out revitalized here as a smaller fighter of the two, and picks up that double leg and slams him to the mat, and then he got reversed. Was able to mitigate this damage, make some space, and right here directly into a takedown again, got this back to the mat and never went the other way. Really nice third round from Oscar Villanueva.
All right, so we'll see how the judges scored this one in just a second. Still have 6 more amateur fights heading your way. 3 pro fights as well on our prelims broadcast. And then we head to UFC Fight Pass at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time as Justice Torres takes on Bilson Indrick-Joni for the 145 strap. But first, let's see how the judges scored this one. Here's Wayne Leggett.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for your decision. Brought to you by Howler Head Whiskey. All 3 judges scored the fight 29-28, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Reece Machen.
So the judges gave the first 2 rounds to Reece. And yeah, wow, surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, can't explain that one, but good fight for both guys, and be interesting to see where they go from here.
Myron Dennis is the name.
Myron Dennis.
Myron Dennis. I finally remembered. All right, let's go to our next fight.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Chow Long Woo.
Chow Woo heading out, making his debut, training out of Paradigm, originally from Taiwan, moved here and training here in Houston. And you see this calm demeanor by Chow Woo. And that's what a lot of people are telling us about him, is just he is just relaxed.
Yeah, to me, that's the scariest guy in the room. And that's why, the first time I rolled with Alex, I knew Alex is not a big talker. Alex is not make a lot of noise, but he is the scariest dude in that room for sure. And feels like a lot of that energy in Chow Woo also, Alex.
Yeah, and it's just funny, at least from my perspective, I just want to do my best. I don't care about beating anyone. I just want to make sure I can always solve the riddles. And I'll tell you, Mike's a grappling riddle that I feel like I'm getting a little bit better at trying to solve. But
much
yeah,
better.
Usually that demeanor comes from a standard of self-conflict and control in problem solving.
All right, let's meet Woo's opponent.
Please welcome Nathan Harris to the red corner.
Nathan Harris looking for that coveted first win as a fighter. Has had some tough fights. Has fought Jaden McKinnon, Paris Jundi in February. So, has some rounds under his belt, but looking for that first win. So he is hungry.
Yeah, and it's tough, man, because Nathan Harris has all the tools. Big, strong guy, good fundamentals. Just hasn't been able to put it together yet in there, but that's what the amateur fights are for. That's to put it together and kind of see what kind of fighter you want to be and put it to the test. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We've seen it both ways. We've talked about this a lot. We've seen 0-something guys go into the pros and, become barn burners, and we've seen it the other way too.
Yeah, you know, one of my guys, he was an 8, he just turned 18, he actually fought Harris in his debut, and Harris brought some, like, physical man strength to that fight.
Our Tale of the Tape brought to you by Sheath Underwear. Height and reach advantage goes to the 28-year-old Nathan Harris. Both fighters are inside. Let's get our introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, brought to you by SheathUnderwear.com, is scheduled for 3 rounds at a Fury Amateur Series catchweight of 160 pounds. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 158.8 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of Taiwan. Today, he makes his amateur debut. This is Chow Long Ooh. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 6 feet tall, and he weighed in at 160.8 pounds. Fighting out of Cade, Texas, today he seeks his first win as an amateur. Here is Nathan Harris. Your referee in charge, John Herzog.
All right, Wu in the blue gloves, Harris in the red. We get our first look at Chow Wu.
So this is interesting, you know, Chow Wu is a southpaw, there's no tape on him. So we talk about the struggle of finding information on debuters. Both guys pretty physical, very similar builds, right around 6 foot tall, very lean, very muscular. Shimada attempt there for Harris.
Good transitional defense there from Wu.
I mean, Harris, he's trying to shoot a double leg with 2 overhooks. I mean, it's going to be so hard to finish. Not impossible at an amateur level, but very challenging. I mean, if I'm Wu, I'm going for 20 guillotines by the time this exchange is over.
Yeah, that neck was sitting there ready to be taken.
You know, Nate did a good job then, you know, digging an underhook, transitioning to the inside. Now he's in on a double with 2 underhooks. Wu still doing a good job keeping his hips pretty far back. Notice Wu's using that right whizzer to really lift Harris up, to try to create as much space between Harris's lock and Wu's hips as possible. Have a little cement mixer potential reversal.
What balance Wu is showing.
Yeah.
He's really strong, really good balance.
I'll tell you, in Nate's fights, he's actually done his best job on his feet. You know, he will wrestle and grapple hard and hit reversals, but it's always competitive. Sometimes, you know, flaws will show up, but he's done pretty consistently well striking.
Good knees there from Harris.
That was a nice little duck under, drags him down. Wu looks to recover guard as to avoid getting his back taken. And he's got the underhook on the right side.
Beautiful job by Wu.
Now, Harris isn't on a guillotine. An arm in guillotine. He needs to get the left leg, you know, pretty high around. He loses the grip. See, that's what I mean. Like, it was not a bad move to go for, but just like the depth of the grip and the depth of the lower body, you know, control placement on the hips, there was just, you know, room for improvement. Whereas, you know, Nate doesn't go for that guillotine. He's not on bottom. Maybe wins the round. You know, pretty good fundamental grappling though from both guys. Nice underhook get up. We'll see if Wu maybe goes for his guillotine, uses a front headlock to spin to the back, but he doesn't clear the underhook in Nate's right arm. So Nate's able to hit a get up with it. A body lock trip there for Wu.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, and actually Nate went for a throw there, and he just had his hips too far behind him.
Yeah.
Wu's just able to, basically he became weightless to Wu there at the end.
I mean, this looked identical to like blue belt grappling at a tournament.
Yeah.
It really did.
Yeah.
That was effectively a jiu-jitsu match with a couple of punches thrown in there.
The most offense in that round, the 2 big knees up against the cage for Nathan Harris. Otherwise, it was a lot of grappling. Take a look at our upcoming schedule. 2 cards left before we head to Fury 100. November 3rd, Fury 98 right here in Houston. And then Fury 99, December 15th. And then the big one, circle your calendars right now, January 12th, Fury 100 right here in H-Town at the Imagine venues. Get your tickets at furyfc.tv.
John Jones versus Alex Pereira is a headliner for that Fury 100.
Hey.
No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's a joke.
We should have a Hall of Famers match. That'd be dope. Somebody will be inducted that night, I believe.
Yeah, I'll put my name in the hat for Cameron Graves. He's actually, after tonight, will have the most Fury fights of any fighter.
Will be
Beats
number 20,
Echeverry,
right?
Jacob Silva. Yeah, I mean, interesting. He was an amateur champ. Nice high kick there from who to start.
Well, if there is a Hall of Fame fight, I want it to be Wayne against Jacob Silva.
The only 2 members right now.
That's right. It would have to be.
Or you put 2 potential Hall of Famers, and the winner gets the Hall of Fame bid.
All right.
As is a win. So many good matchups to be made. Richard Burmaster against Eric Garcia. Or Rich Burmaster against Jacob Silva. If you remember those shenanigans, where he's saying that Jacob Silva in 1 punch could not knock him out.
Yeah, was that ever tested?
It never was, but it should be a good Fury FC 100 event. But that, in all seriousness, it's going to be an incredible card. Get your tickets right now. Can't wait to be a part of that one. We started as this broadcast team on Fury FC 52 or 51. And I think you joined right before that at 49?
47, yeah. 47 was my first. 46 was the Dana White looking for a fight. And I was a guest at that show. And then I did the next show. And Alex and Todd Moore both looked down their nose at me like, who's this guy? Let's get rid of him quick. And here we are, 50-something shows later.
Yeah. No, I had an open heart. I always like meeting new friends, especially if they do a good job, and you did a great job.
Oh, thank you guys. You guys were very welcoming. Fury puts on a great show, and you know, like I said, Alex and I have done 50-something shows now, and man, it's been amazing.
It's funny, Woo's got this wrist right as he's laying down some damage with some hammer fists, and we're sharing sentiments of love and friendship.
Immediately this round started, and he was in a dominating position. So
yeah, you know, it looks like
Woo's, and now that arm is going in for the choke.
Yeah,
is this going to be enough for Woo?
Man, Nathan's got to fight that top hand now. I mean, he's got to 2-on-1 peel it. This is still choking him, I guarantee it.
It's
hurting. See the face. He's got to get that hand down, which he does. He's got to keep fighting that hand. I mean, this is even worse than it was moments ago.
Man.
Oh, there it is.
Man. Woo with the rear naked choke.
What a finish in round 2 for Chow Woo, getting that debut win. Dominated work from the start of this round.
Strong fundamental grappling that ended up paying off.
Yeah, very, very good. Perfect rear naked choke sequence. Taking the back, the wrist ride, and then defending the defense for that and re-examining that choke arm, putting that under the chin. Once that chin goes over the top of that gate arm, you're basically done.
Yeah.
It's very, very tight. You'll see him pull it down, gets his fingertips in there, pulls it down first. There you go. And you see he readjusts here.
Yeah.
Once that chin goes over the top of that gate arm, that is impossible to get out.
I mean, yeah, that was super deep. Even when it was over the chin, it was still super deep and fully figure forward. Good to see the respect amongst the teams.
Man, what a debut there for Chow Woo. Let's make things official. Here's Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John Herzog calls for a stop to the fight. 2 minutes, 16 seconds into round number 2. Declaring a winner by tap out due to a rear naked choke, Chow Long Woo.
Woo with the win here on his debut. Beautiful job, beautiful jiu-jitsu to finish here in the second round.
Final pictures here, but we're going to keep things moving and meet our next fighter. Wayne trying to get in the picture. I see you, Wayne.
Photo bomber.
Here's.
Please welcome Gabriel Antonio to the blue corner.
Gabriel Antonio. Third time here inside the Fury Amateur Series cage, coming in with a 2-1 record, riding a 1-fight win streak right now. Last fight got the split decision win over Mauricio Torres at Fury Amateur Series 52 back in April. Took some months off, regrouping as Gabriel, and back in he comes.
Yeah, a fun record. He's our oldest fighter on the card at 40. He's fought some crazy fights. He does submission-only matches. This man competes because he enjoys martial arts, which is very admirable. He's fighting Mehul. This is going to be such a fun, wacky fight. I mean, I can't wait for this one.
A 40-year-old taking on an 18-year-old. How about that? That is the biggest age gap, ever in Fury.
22 years. I mean, dude, this could be his dad.
Yeah, it really could.
It really could. And it would be like a responsible time to have a kid at 22.
I know plenty of guys who have had kids at 22. All right, let's meet Gabriel's opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Mehul Somaroutu.
Mehul Somaroutu. 1-2 record, trying to make things even. Mehul, very confident, said, I'm getting this first round finish.
I remember Mehul's debut. He fought a prospect because that prospect's opponent fell out, and Mehul was down to fight. He was so green. He was maybe 6 months into training, and it was a fun, competitive fight. And then he got a little more training time, and in his next fight, he was a real challenge. And then in his next fight against Gonzales, who just fought for the belt, a real challenge. Mehul has become a killer, one of the coolest personalities here, one of like the most genuinely just nice human beings on the roster. But man, he can pack a punch, and he's got great in-cage fight energy.
The Mongoose. And as legend goes, he walked in when he was in high school to Strong Style MMA with 5 friends. 4 of them left. Mehul loved it so much. He was playing tennis at the time in high school. He's like, I'm all in on MMA. To the point where he got into the University of Texas, went to Austin, trained with Cody Steele and those guys over there for a while, but then made the hard decision of coming back here to Houston to train at Strong Style MMA. So Mehul is all in, and you see that age, 40 against 18, even on the height, reach advantage for Mehul Somaroutu. Both guys are inside, so let's get our introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next fight, brought to you by DeNunaLawFirm.com, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Flyweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 128.4 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of San Jose, Costa Rica, his amateur record stands at 2 wins, 1 loss. Here is Gabriel Antonio. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighed in at 126.4 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, today he seeks his 2nd win as an amateur. This is Mehul Somaroutu. Your referee in charge of the action, Daniel Guevara.
Gabriel Antonio celebrated Muay Thai background. Blue gloves versus Mehul Somaroutu, red gloves. Big kick there, missing.
So Gabriel won his last fight on that decision with his grappling. He's done submission-only matches. You gotta assume Mehul is gonna be quicker, just because he's that much younger, and he's a striker, and he's long. So I would imagine Antonio's gonna use a wrestling strategy here tonight. Look at Mehul's already thrown 2 lightning quick kicks. Antonio being patient though.
We've seen guys who, former basketball players, football players. Of course, you've got combat sport backgrounds, right? Wrestling, BJJ. Tennis is the rare one out of all of them. No disrespect to our tennis players. It's one of the hardest sports. You just don't see that tennis to MMA transition.
You know, this is Mehul's now 4th fight. I remember in his debut, he was smiling and laughing and having fun. And now he knows. He's got some cage experience in this. He's like, this is not a joke. This is not a game. I'm going to try to knock you out. And you can see that energy that he's bringing to this fight. I mean, still having fun, but just poised.
Yeah, and he even promised a first-round knockout here.
Oh, man.
Nice uppercut.
He is walking that energy down, man. He really wants that finish right now. That was a loaded combo.
Yeah, he's being patient, too. He's just waiting for the right moment to strike. Just trying to get Antonio out of position so he can just unload big shots.
Yeah, and just in his ring presence, you can see the improvements he's made since his last fight. I mean,
oh yeah,
he's standing in there. I mean, he looks like a pro fighter now.
Nice low kick.
I'm surprised Gabriel hasn't taken this towards the cage fencing.
Oh, good side kick. Just low kick there from Antonio.
Oh, man, that uppercut did connect. Yes, Gabriel walking back.
Yes, Antonio maybe hurt a little bit. That looked like he was retreating a little bit from engagement there. Moving forward again now.
Oh, right up. That uppercut's been landing. I'll tell you though, Antonio's reacting pretty well. That was the 3rd one that's landed pretty clean. And he's not turning away super hard. He's pressuring when he can.
10 seconds left. Oh, man, right up until the horn. Man, what a first round. A totally different looking Mehul Somaroutu.
Yeah, Mehul landing the bigger shots here. And like you said, Alex, surprised Gabriel Antonio did not try to take this to the ground, but there wasn't one attempt. But every time he stepped into the pocket where you can initiate those takedowns, Mehul was firing right at him. So very, very difficult to get in for Gabriel Antonio.
Yeah, and anytime, you know, you fight someone you think is going to try to wrestle, you run the knees, you run the uppercuts. The knees are a little riskier. High risk, high reward. You land them, they do damage, but you miss them, you get taken down. Those uppercuts, though, there's some counter punch potential in throwing uppercuts, but it's not really going to hurt if the guys are shooting as much, because it's going to be down. It's going to be like a down block. You stay pretty low to throw uppercuts. And he's landed it. I mean, he had 3 pretty significant uppercuts, a couple good flurries.
Mehul hasn't started sweating yet, so I think that's a good sign for him.
Yeah, Antonio's he's kind of struggling to get the range to just attack, whether it be takedowns or strikes. He hit 1 decent low kick last round, but it's pretty much the extent of the offense that was successful. I'll tell you, we saw Mehul with a nice flying knee in his last fight. He didn't win the fight, but was able to split the guy's eye open pretty good with it.
Wow, sick.
Very
transition.
nice.
Wow.
Got an arm trapped here.
Oh,
that's very tight.
This is going to be game.
Is this that's a tap? Oh my gosh, we got to see that quick transition right into the choke.
Wow.
Jumped on it, literally.
As soon as he felt his hand on his Achilles for that low single, he jumped to his back, went right over and trapped that arm. Was able to finish that rear naked choke. I can't tell if he ever locked it up, but he had that palm deep over his shoulder, and it was choking him the entire time. So very nice finish by Mehul.
The Mongoose gets the tap.
Big sigh of relief there from Richard Burmaster.
There
you see, there's that. Yeah, right over the back. Traps that left arm. Goes around the neck immediately, and you see he's got that palm face down on there. Never really locks it up. It never has to.
I mean, bottom arm trapped, body triangle on the top side. It doesn't get any worse as a back take for that. That was just an execution of speed from Mehul, too. I mean, that was fast.
Man, what a finish there for the 18-year-old. Let's make things official. Here's Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Daniel Guevara calls for a stop to the fight. 58 seconds into round number 2, declaring your winner by tap out. Due to a rear naked choke, Mehul Somaroutu.
I guess Mehul officially got rid of the Mongoose nickname, but that was such a good nickname. So Mehul, if you're watching this back, bring back the Mongoose.
Yeah, what a show of improvement from him also. You know, very, very nice. A lot of improvement since his last fight.
All right, let's get to our next fight.
Please welcome Patrick Frazer to the blue corner.
Patrick Frazer making his debut at the age of 23 in this bantamweight showdown.
Yeah, expect some sharp jiu-jitsu from this young man. I actually ran into him at a Jiu-Jitsu World League tournament. He had done very well. And I was talking to one of his teammates who had just fought. He's head of that GB Copperfield team. They're so good. You see Alex's name in his corner. For those who know, he's like an OG in the Houston MMA scene. Fought on like shark fights, won local titles. It was kind of like almost before Legacy's day almost. It was a little while back. But you know the preparation there is strong. But I ran into this young blood at a tournament, and he was like, I'm making my Fury debut. You know, I hope you're there commentating. I'm like, I'll be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, so he was like, you know, expect some greatness. So I liked the confidence he had. And yeah, I was looking forward to his debut ever since the day I met him.
That may be the greatest compliment for us too, whenever fighters come up and say, hey man, I hope you're calling our fights. We love it so much, we enjoy it so much, and it's always good to see it where, you know, especially Alex, you know, you fighting in the UFC now, there's a lot of people that want to be associated with your, you know, want you calling their fights for sure. So that's a great nod.
Boss Rutan called one of my fights, and that made my day, man. So I was very happy about that.
All right, Patrick is inside. Let's meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Nwadei.
Nwadei coming back. Fought in October of last year. Took some time off, regrouping, and looking for that first win as an amateur. Fighting out of Texas Third Coast MMA.
Yep. Nwadei taking his time to come out, but sounds like this is one of these songs where he wants to hear his part before he starts coming out.
Yeah, you want the beat drop.
That's right. It sounds like music that would be playing when a ship is sinking or something.
I don't know if there's going to be a drop, guys. Oh, there's a little bass in the mix.
A little bit.
Yeah, this is awesome. Love this.
Finally, we get both Galvan brothers. We almost never see them working together in a corner. I like those Galvan brothers. Every city's got a couple of brothers who are just, you know, hard-nosed strikers. This is one of a couple duos in Houston.
Nwadei hosts an uncensored MMA podcast called The Will versus The Way, where he breaks down fights on his YouTube channel under his name, Nwadei. In his head, he's 2-0, and he said he's soon to be 3-0. So we'll see how it works out here against Patrick Frazer. Patrick Frazer taking a page out of Boaton's book.
Yeah,
staring the opponent down from the time he sees him until that first bell rings.
I've been trying to Shazam this song. I want to know what it is. This is intense. All right, we look at our tail of the tape brought to you by OnlyFans. The height advantage going to Patrick Frazer and the reach going to Nwadei, the 24-year-old. Both fighters are in. Let's get our introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by Sisu Plunge is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Bantamweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 135.8 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, today he makes his amateur debut. This is Patrick Frazer. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, and he weighed in at a perfect 135 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, today he looks for his first win as an amateur. Here is Nwadei. Your referee in charge of the action, JJ Ferraro.
JJ Ferraro with the assignment, not Dylan Turner. That was a little accident there. Blue gloves for Patrick Frazer. Nwadei in the red. Good size 135ers.
Yeah. Similar frames too, similar height, lean, muscular.
Both guys very young.
Nwadei's got the cage time experience. I don't know, Frazier's got a good skill set and a good team behind him, as does Nwadei. But you gotta read body language. Sometimes on debuts, guys are wasting energy and getting crazy. And man, Frazer was just stone cold, serious, and dialed in.
Yeah, they had an interesting stare-down exchange as Nwadei entered the cage.
Yeah, Nwadei brought some, you know, respectful but hostile energy to weigh-ins as well. And they had a good stare-down. You know, you don't do MMA fights to make friends, I'll tell you that much.
Afterwards, you might become friends, but...
Exactly, yeah.
Before, no.
Certainly not during.
Ooh, big kick there for Frazer.
Right hand from Nwadei.
Oh,
big left hand from Frazer.
That's a sharp left. Yep. You'll see that more often with open stance fights. Frazer being the southpaw, Nwadei being orthodox. That often happens when the switch stance fighter or the open stance fighter is either throwing a kick or switching stances. Just because the range changes during the trajectory of the kick.
Right, let's take a look at this cup check.
Just open stance.
Boing.
I actually don't know if that was supposed to be a body kick or a leg kick.
It was a cup kick.
Yeah,
cup kick.
It looked like he retreated right into it.
Our first cup check of the afternoon. Brought to you by Sisu Plunge, because I see their logo right there. Nothing feels better than a nice cold plunge after getting connected in the nards. I do love it. I see Richard Burmaster got one for Strong Style MMA. I see some of their fighters using it. Love a good cold plunge.
Yeah, that's the most recommended recovery I hear. I should cold plunge more.
I think every podcaster in the world starts their morning off with a cold plunge.
Yeah. I was curious to see the grappling ability of Frazer after meeting him at that jiu-jitsu tournament. If I'm not mistaken, he was able to take first place in his division. I want to say at a blue belt level. Which is impressive. one of my teams was at that tournament.
Yeah.
And there was this teenage blue belt. He's actually fighting on the Sub-100 Pro Teams bracket. And that he was as good as a black belt.
Wow.
Blew my mind. I wish I knew the young blood's name, but more of the story is blue belts can be very high level if they're serious competitors.
Yeah, these kids are getting so good now.
And I'll never forget, as an adult, a blue belt from Brazil came to train with us, and he had just won the World Championships at blue belt. He was 16 years old, and his name was Mauricio Andre, and he was a savage then. He's a savage black belt now, of course, multiple-time world champion, but you just never know about those blue belts, man.
So still to come on this prelims broadcast, Cristian Lopez taking on your guy Joe Hendershot. We're so excited to see him take for his second fight. We also have Cameron Veales taking on Dylan Aguilar. A quick highlight here.
That's that sharp left hand,
Yeah, there it is. Boom.
A little counter takedown action. Yeah, you got to stay standing on your feet when you go for single legs. You can't drop down to a knee or hip. It's just so risky to get potentially reversed, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to run the pipe by kind of pulling him down to the ground. It's just not a good way to do it. You'll get your back taken almost every time.
You know, yeah, or end up on your back. I mean,
yeah.
Oh man, that left came in heavy.
Good right hand. Potential guillotine here, nope. Oh man, so that was a better executed single leg, but Frazer just had some balance on him.
Frazer doing a good job of staying upright.
It's really well timed there from Frazer. So what Nwadei was doing was getting inside head control, which is the right thing to do. And he built a little momentum doing it by angling in, and Frazer used that momentum to lift his underhook and circle out.
Nice big left hand there. Just misses.
A deeper guillotine. But the double leg is successful there for Nwadei. Frazer back up to his feet.
Now Nwadei needs to scoop those legs up. There you go, he's got the legs. Elevate those heels off the mat.
Nwadei's done well technically here, but Frazier's just on point with his counters. I mean, he didn't even have a wizard.
Yeah.
He just had, like, you know, an overhook that was high on the back. Used it to kind of cup the lat and shrug him over to get that reversal. And then now all of Nwadei's energy spent on that takedown has literally scored against him. I mean, that can be frustrating for Nwadei.
Good patience there for Frazer.
Straight ankle lock attempt here. I mean, he's got a classic Ashu position. You are allowed to reap at MMA. I think you should be allowed to in jiu-jitsu as well. Nice little backstep. Yeah. He can push that knee down and swing all the way through as an option. Uses it to wrestle up. It's a cool blend of, like, modern, you know, leg entanglement jiu-jitsu with the wrestle up style.
10 seconds left in round 2.
Nwadei finishing the round on top here, it looks like.
Yeah, honestly, it was a very close round. I think that could have been enough for Nwadei to take it. It very unofficially could be 1-1 going into 3.
And we've seen the judges go to work here in that Reece Machen fight against Oscar Villanueva. Saw them go that one. That was a little shock. Oscar Villanueva. We thought that he was going to win that one, but it was Reece So we'll see. We still got one more round in this one. And a lot of fights left on our prelims broadcast. By the way, Alex, you are back in action next weekend.
Fighting on Saturday, yeah. It's been a long, awesome fight camp. I cannot wait to go get back in the cage. I love the Apex. It's cool. Royval was actually here for the last Pro Fury card.
Yeah.
I went and said what's up. I told him every time I get booked, I hope the main event is a good fight, and it was a good fight. He's fighting Chia, the undefeated Japanese kid. So it's a great main event. I think I'm the opening fight of the main card, so that was an honor. So that'd be
that's
cool.
awesome, man. Can't wait. We love watching you. 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. Get your subscription if you haven't. My ESPN Plus has been getting used overtime with all these cards, college football. Man, love ESPN Plus. Love UFC Fight Pass. Make sure you subscribe to that as well and complete that MMA dream of subscriptions.
So I think this is where Nwadei's last 2 fights are really coming into play, because he's got this 3rd round fight experience. He knows what it feels like to be here. And Frazer's doing great, but it did seem like the pacing was getting to him a bit in round number 3. As Nwadei kind of botches a takedown.
Oh, man.
Ends up in that bottom half.
Yeah, what a position now for Patrick.
Looks like Frazer's going for a Darce choke. Oh, no. Nwadei got his head out quick.
Yeah, Frazer gave a little bit too much space there in that mounted position. You know, in his transitions, gave a little bit too much space. He'll tighten that up as he, as he gets more cage time, and his coaches will see that, and they'll definitely fix that. But yeah, a little bit too much space there. Nwadei does a good job of recovering, but man, he has got to get those angles right when he's trying those throws. I mean, it's a second or third time he's tried to throw and just not had the angle right and ended up on bottom. And he looks to be the more physical of the 2 fighters. I mean, he's able to stand up. He's able to bully Frazer just a little bit whenever he's in those good positions, but he just can't keep him.
Well, this is a good armbar angle. He's got to throw that left leg over. Oh, no, Frazer was super hit to it. It almost seemed like he was kind of dipping in the hole, knowing he could pop out, like knowing he can get leg position advantage here.
Yeah, I think Frazer does a good job of baiting. He's baited him a couple times. Knows his limitations in there. That's really, really valuable.
And it's like the final step of these techniques where Nwadei's losing it.
All right, little elbow to the butt exchange.
Cool.
Yeah. Very awkward.
Yep.
Yeah, not really a defense for either one of these guys from this position.
So, Mike, this is actually a new position. What do they call this guard? Some guy did in a tournament super successfully a couple of times.
I don't know.
I forget how he was able to, like, pass or sub. I forget. But, I mean, okay, that's good. Good for JJ. Well, that's awesome. Those guys could have sat here for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, there's really no advancement.
No, I mean, it was like a reverse close guard. I mean...
Yeah, it's like a mounted donkey guard, kind of.
I like donkey guard. Mounted donkey guard.
Yeah, Jeff Glover's somewhere screaming at the TV right now if he's listening to us. Wow.
All right,
a really close
what
fight.
do you think, guys? That was a fun fight. Noah Nwadei here giving us his thoughts on the fight.
Yeah, I mean, Nwadei finished the last 10 seconds strong. Was positionally beaten early, but took no damage. I mean, honestly, this is one of those fights. Round 3 could have gone either way. I think they each won, a round in 1 and then 1 by 1 and 2. We may see a split here. I think no matter the decision, neither guy can be too upset or too satisfied. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Nwadei was over here positioning us for a vote, and we don't have one.
Yeah.
So, we have nothing to do with who wins the fights, and they can't hear us. We can't see them.
Yeah, I'm super neutral here. I genuinely don't know who won it. I think either guy can make a case. We'll see what these judges say.
Now Noah going over to the judges table, letting them know, trying to sway his or trying to get the final say and see if he can sway the judges, even though they're not seated there.
Yeah.
Noah really wanted to be interviewed after this fight, by the way.
Yeah.
Just unfortunately, because we have so many fights today, we will not be doing as many post-fight interviews. But maybe one day, Noah, when you're on the main card where you get a finish, it's guaranteed. All right, the judges have calculated everything up. Wayne is inside. Let's see who won this fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for your decision. Brought to you by Sisu Plunge. All 3 judges score the fight 29-28, declaring your winner by unanimous decision, Patrick Frazer.
Congratulations to Patrick Frazer getting that coveted first win as a fighter.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like Alex said, neither guy's going to be too happy with that performance. You know, I don't think either guy could be upset. I mean, it was a very, very close fight. Yeah. Split decision. That's a right call, probably.
All right, let's meet our next fighter.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Gonzales.
All right, we are going to see some 125ers. Gonzales, 4-time inside the Fury FC cage as an amateur, coming off his first loss, where he lost to Jay Alderete at Fury Amateur Series 54 in September via unanimous decision. So we'll see how he has been working and retooling here just a couple of months later.
Yeah, and that's after starting 2-0 with 2 submissions. So, you know, ready to get back in that win column. You know, he's a young guy, another 18-year-old fighter on the roster. And, man, that being said, there are some great prospects coming up the pipeline for Fury Fighting Championships. And I think Gonzales is one of them.
As you mentioned, 18 years old. Has so much cage time already. He really takes his time inside the cage. Will get that fight to the ground if he can. Got a nice armbar win as well on that record. Alon is inside. Let's meet his opponent.
Please welcome Damien Nunez to the red corner.
Damien Nunez, 3rd time inside the Fury FC cage. Got a huge win over Abdul Kushnad at Fury FC 91 back in June. That was a really fun fight. I know you weren't there for the broadcast, but you had a chance to go watch it.
Yep.
He is a fun fighter, high energy.
Yeah, these are 2 guys that, you know, have a bright future in MMA. And, you know, it's kind of crazy that these 2 guys, 2-0, and Damien Nunez 2-1 for Gonzales. And these guys are fighting this early in their career. This is a very challenging fight for both guys. Good for them for challenging themselves this way, you know, this early in their amateur career.
Another strong style MMA fighter. Del Fuego in his corner. Co-head coach Samantha as well. Samantha Burmaster there. He's bringing the vibes with this music too.
Yeah.
This is what Imagine venues sounds like on Saturday nights, baby.
That's right.
Our guy Diego Reyes, he pulled an all-nighter here. I actually saw Diego earlier this week. Yeah, he stopped by. We were at a podcast little meetup. Good seeing him. We look at our Taylor Tape, brought to you by OnlyFans. The height advantage, reach advantage going to the 19-year-old Damien Nunez, but did miss weight, 129.2. He is inside. Let's get our introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, brought to you by OnlyFans, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Flyweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, and he weighed in at 126.2 pounds. Fighting out of Valle de Santiago, Guanajuato, Mexico. His amateur record stands at 2 wins, only 1 defeat. Here is Alan Gonzales. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 129.2 pounds. Fighting out of Rosenberg, Texas, he holds a perfect amateur record of 2 wins, no losses. This is dazzling Damien Nunez. Your referee in charge, John Herzog.
All right, John Herzog with the assignment. Blue gloves for Gonzales, Nunez in the red gloves. Both fighters looking for their 3rd win as an amateur. High-level matchup.
Yeah, 2 young guys, 18 and 19 years old. Alon Gonzales, one of Alex Morono's students, and Alex over there in his corner. You know, and anytime you have a coach who fights in the UFC, you kind of emulate his style. You know, Alex has a great ground game and never use it. Loves to get in there and bang it out. Will, if he gets taken, you know, will use the ground game. Of course, he gets taken down. And but Alex is a very good submission artist. And Alon Gonzales, I would imagine, want to emulate his coach and stand up and bang this out if he can.
Good heavy kick there from Nunez, returned by Gonzales.
And Damien Nunez looking like he's ready to accommodate that request, because standing right in front of him. These guys haven't even feinted a takedown yet.
Oh, man.
Right hand.
Right, yeah. Just grazed the face of Nunez.
Yeah, grazed the face, caught him a little off balance. Big leg kick there.
Oh, okay. A catch and throw. You don't see that too much, and a big strike there for Damien.
Yeah, Damien punishing here, pushing the face of Alon Gonzales. Very punishing style here from the top.
Oh, man, what a slam.
Yeah, what a, man. Damien Nunez is a brute, man.
He might be reloading for another one.
Yeah.
Michael, what does a slam like that do?
It depends on what hits. So if the middle of your back hits and your head is up, then it doesn't do much. I mean, it's more of a, you know, it's more of just an aggravating. And every time, usually, when you slam someone, you're almost improving their position. You know, once you land, because they
an arm.
Wow, there it is. Beautiful.
How about that?
Oh, wow.
What a finish there for Alon Gonzales. The 18-year-old saw the opening, took it, and got the tap in round 1 after being slammed down by Damien Nunez. What a finish.
Yeah, like I said, the slams very rarely do anything unless your head hits. Whenever you hit the mat, as long as you keep it off of there, and it's easy. The transition is pretty easy once you get there, but that is not what happened here. That was a slow transition, and Nunez had it defended. And man, Gonzales just adjusted and was able to finish that belly down armbar beautifully.
Man, let's take a look.
Here we go, that brutal style here. You see, he gets it. There's that. He goes belly down right there. Once you get that, that's very, very hard to get out. Yeah, that arm is not designed to bend that way, Raheel. What a beautiful transition. Almost lost it. Stayed with it. Kept the arm deep. Pulled the arm deeper. Went belly down. It was beautiful.
Let's make things official. Here's Wade.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John Herzog calls for a stop to the fight. 2 minutes, 28 seconds into the very first round. Declaring a winner by tap out due to an armbar, Alan Gonzales.
Congratulations to Alan Gonzales, third win as an amateur. That leaves us with 2 more amateur fights left. And then we have 3 pro fights before we head to UFC Fight Pass. But first, let's meet our next fighter.
Please welcome Caden Adkison to the blue corner.
All right, these final 2 fights, Michael, things are about to heat up. And we are going to see some bangers. Caden Adkison, 5th time inside the Fury Amateur Series cage, riding a 3-fight win streak after losing his debut win, and he has just steadily gotten better, obviously with the record, but just the eye test.
Yeah, and Caden Adkison lost that debut by split decision, thought he won the fight, but very, very close fight, but has been on a roll since. So you never know. We talk about it a lot, Real. Losing that debut could mean that, you know, like this, you're going on, you can never lose again. You never know. So both these guys, again, Caden Adkison, young guy, big for the weight class. The sky's the limit for a kid like this, Raheel.
Coming down, we usually see him in San Antonio. Does train at One Academy. The Rage, Caden Adkison. Alex Morono back on. What a finish there.
Man, wow. Alon's like a fast-footed boxer. And then he just closed guard everyone. It's wild. It's awesome. I love that boy. He can find a finish. Adkinson's another very fun guy to watch. I'm glad I made it back in time for his fight.
Caden Adkison is inside. Let's meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Pedro Lopez.
Pedro Lopez. This is a big one. Missed weight by 4 pounds for this 135 showdown. So I do want to mention that first. We'll see it on the tail of the tape. But first time here at Fury Amateur Series on a 1-fight losing streak. Started his career 3-0 as an amateur. Has 2 submission wins, and everyone speaks so highly of him.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't fought since 2021, so been out for a little while, but here he is ready to go. And you got to think, Alex, a guy that's been out for 3 years has got to be significantly improved since his last performance. Yeah,
and I was talking to his coach, and I crossed it with the guys at War. Copley was saying, and Mehul, you know, he's new to the team. And this is almost like a, not a tryout, but like a test run to see how he does. Obviously, he's got the strong skill set. He made some changes in his camp. He's got a new camp. And we'll see how he performs. I actually don't know much about him, so I was equally as intrigued as you guys and the fight fans at home were. And, you know, 3-1 versus 3-1, these guys are some pretty high-level prospects.
We look at our tail of the tape, as I mentioned, 140.6 on the scales for Pedro Lopez. Height advantage, reach advantage going to the 20-year-old Caden Adkison. Both fighters are inside. Let's get our introductions.
The following contest, brought to you by OnlyFans, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Bantamweight Division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, and he weighed in at 135.2 pounds. Fighting out of San Antonio, Texas, his amateur record stands at 3 wins, only 1 defeat. Here is Caden, the Rage Adkison. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 5 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 140.6 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of La Crescent, Minnesota, his amateur record also stands at 3 wins, only 1 defeat. Here is Pedro Lopez. Your referee in charge of the action, Danielle Guevara.
Caden Adkison, blue gloves. Pedro Lopez, red gloves. Ooh. And Pedro Lopez is built like a tank.
Yeah, I heard his wrestling was really good. Cade's got really sharp striking. He's got a very well-rounded game, but he's really shown his best, ability on his feet, switching stances, kicking the legs, changing the level of his punches.
Beautiful transitions here from Caden.
He's got to clear his head. Does Lopez. He cannot let Adkison figure 4 those legs.
Getting close to it.
Got it.
Oh, man.
That's very close.
He's got to prioritize the figure 4, though. I mean, this is where Lopez, to the armbar, but he steps over. It's really slick transition work there from Lopez defensively.
Yeah, very nice sequence there from both guys. Good attempt by Caden.
Yeah, their coaches
just sliding out of that.
The coaches at war asking Lopez to go into half guard. I could not agree more. The half guard strat. I mean, you don't got to worry about submissions if you're in top half guard. Strong entry to a back.
Pedro Lopez just instantly slamming Caden Adkison.
You got to make sure all that energy spent is, worthwhile. His dumps are awesome, but Adkison did get right back to his feet. Good body work from Lopez.
Adkison answers with a few uppercuts there. Big right hand from Lopez.
To Adkison, he is slick on the feet. We saw him in San Antonio just brutalize one of his opponent's legs. Low kicks. I think he got a low kick TKO. Oh, really nice caught front kick into a double leg. That was cool.
30 seconds left in round 1.
It's funny, whether it be jiu-jitsu tournaments or MMA, I have my students recite like a mantra. I'm like, what is the goal? They say half guard is the goal. Like, the goal is not to get stuck in closed guard. It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, we just saw Alon in his last fight. Got taken down pretty hard from a caught kick just into a brutally awesome armbar.
Under 10 seconds. And he grabbed that arm as soon as he saw it. Did Alon.
A very entertaining first round. Good round by both guys. Both guys had some highlights there. Lopez with a couple of takedowns, a lot of topside time. But Adkison doing a good job of staying out of trouble. Didn't take much damage. Really difficult round to call, but man, I think it has to be a Lopez round.
So yeah, from what we've kind of seen, they're doing a good amount of position scoring, And the triangle was good, but it was never fully figure 4. And the armbar was never really in position either. So like submission attempts, but very, shallow. I think the positioning of Lopez won him the round as well.
All right, we'll see what adjustments are being made. We get to round 2.
Caden in his corner looking a little aggravated at himself about how the first round went, but man, didn't take any damage.
No.
Did well against a big, strong opponent.
Seems like he maybe, used less energy too. Oh.
Nice left hand.
Oh, combo there for Adkison.
Adkison's lowered his base. He's standing lower.
And very creative with the striking to start the second round.
Lopez has hit some good slip and rips and then mixing it up with some strong kicks. It's funny, both guys actually showing improvements as round number 2 starts.
Yeah, you got to think Adkison's corner told him to lay off the kicks for a little bit. Just throw those hands, not getting the opportunity to catch those kicks or to kind of fill that space when he throws those kicks.
Oh,
Nice punch on the break there from Lopez.
Good knee there, followed up by a right there for Lopez. And Lopez just walking down Adkison, not afraid of that striking.
No, not at all. And he's doing a great job being efficient on the output with his strikes. He's like throwing to just land. He's not really sitting down on shots that doesn't need to. You know, usually guys with this build, they really plan and throw. And he's actually being quite accurate and technical, especially on the break. And I think his threat of that is really showing us a different Caden Adkison, where Adkison can't free flow like he likes to. And I think that was the frustration you saw on his face coming into round 2. To
the ground we go.
Yeah, you can see Lopez is stronger of the two fighters. Adkison in good position there, but Lopez still able to elevate him and get him down to the mat. He's going into the mount now. He's got that 3/4 mount. He's still got the foot on the inside, but he goes to full mount now.
Trying to circle those legs away from the cage. Oh, man.
Uh-oh.
Flattens him out. Adkison rolls.
Adkison did a good job of getting to a position where he didn't have the mount, didn't have his back, but you're going to take some damage from those positions when you're trying to get out of there. So you cannot stop when you get to a safe position because you're right in punching range.
See, now that coach is trying to have Lopez walk Adkison's feet away from the cage.
10 seconds left in round 2.
Man, big ground shots. Good finish. And that was a good round for Lopez.
Yeah. Lopez showing some versatility there. You know, first round, the story of his takedowns were catching the kicks and, you know, kind of intruding on those kicks. And here, where, you know, he's crowding more, he's setting up those takedowns, able to get in tight into that pocket to get this to the ground.
His striking was sharp and it set up his really strong wrestling. And I think he won that round very clearly.
Yep. Yeah.
He actually seemed more fresh in round 2 than round 1. Maybe settled into the pace, you know.
Round 3, sorry, coming your way. We still have one more amateur fight. Cade Foradory taking on Brian James.
That's effectively our amateur main event. That's a great fight.
Yes,
it really is.
That's going to be such a good fight. And then we have 3 pro fights as well. 4:30 p.m. we head to UFC Fight Pass. So thank you for joining us here. If you're watching on YouTube or the Facebook live streams, we appreciate it. And all you YouTubers, I do go back and read the comments. Be kind. YouTube can be a mean place sometimes.
Yeah, you know, I've never read the comments on the YouTube page.
I just see them by accident. When I go back and watch the fights to prep, I'll always see the live comments, right? And love it. A lot of people watching on YouTube, so we appreciate it. Keep sharing the stream and on Facebook as well. Free fights on a Sunday right now, and then 4:30 on UFC Fight Pass. Good start here, round 3.
Earlier in the card, we had talked about the risk versus reward equation on throwing the knees against the wrestler. And Adkison threw a flying knee, you know, hoping Lopez was going to shoot. But as soon as he jumped and realized the shot wasn't happening, Lopez actually countered the flying knee with a shot. So, I mean, that's that. If it lands, you're in a good spot. But if it doesn't, you know, you get almost taken down for free. That was a good progression in the half guard. Lopez seems pretty hip. He is not panicked at all while Adkison is attacking these triangles. He just kind of slips his head out of position, advances his legs, and puts on some ground and pound.
Yeah, I think he's passed the test for his new team over there.
Yeah.
And he's doing really, really well against a really skilled fighter here in Caden Adkison.
Yeah, I mean, if he wins, I'd put him at 4-1, which is, you know, nice takedown championship, you know, level record work. You know, but he's got to make sure he does make the weight.
Yeah.
You know, a 5-pound miss is a big miss.
That's really big, right? So that's something to clean up. But hey, and by the way, props to Caden Adkison. Said, yeah, I still want this fight. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, he really feels like he could have. You know, one, he really feels like he can fight with anybody, and two, he really wants to fight, right?
And you know, as when you're a pro, it's different. If they missed weight, you're really looking at something, you know, to talk about. But as these amateurs, even Alon's opponent busted by like 4 pounds. Yeah. And he was like, Coach, you know, should I fight? I was like, do you want to fight? And he said, yep. I was like, then fight. You know, you're amateurs. You know, that's the fighting spirit. You're not getting paid for it just yet. You know, this is what we're learning, our craft. So like, let this be a great lesson for Lopez, making weight. Let this be a good lesson for Adkison when he does go pro. Maybe we're a little more stringent on fights we accept, or at least get paid for it. I think Lopez knows he can wrestle him well, and he's staying active as Lopez with his ground and pound, with his transition work.
That's the one thing when we get to the pro side, when guys miss weight, you know, if it's by a pound, if it's by 0.8, whatever it is, their opponent says no. It's frustrating sometimes, right? Like, we're really excited for matchups, but they have the right to do it. None of this would have been an issue if you had just made weight, right?
If anyone is ever like, you know, why would they not fight? Stephen Wonderboy Thompson once made a post when Michel Pereira busted weight against him. Read that post. It explains it in the most elegant, professional way possible. It should be the standard for why we shouldn't bust as professionals. Yeah. Especially in the UFC. Huge performance here from Pedro Lopez. I mean, he's new on the scene here in Fury, and you know, he really did do a good job in this fight. I think we may see a 30-27, you know, 29-28 at worst, but I mean, that was a strong performance. Mixed it up well, struck well, wrestled well, showed some very good defensive grappling when passing the guard. That was a good fight.
Yeah, we may have another prospect here at 135. I mean, for a while, and I mean, still is that way, but our 125 and 135 class is top of the heap here for a regional show anywhere in the country. And you know, Pedro Lopez, don't know when he's planning on making his pro debut, and he's a problem for somebody at 135 as long as he gets that weight under control. But I expect he'll do that. He's been out for a few years, probably been at, you know, hasn't cut weights in a while. So, but I expect his next fight he'll have that under control, and I don't think it'll be an issue ever again.
Man, good pressure, good control for Pedro Lopez. We saw some good work on the feet as well for him. For Caden Adkison, met a guy who stylistically probably not the best matchup, but definitely shows you something to improve on. Let's see how the judges rule this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of combat, we go to the judges' scorecards for your decision. Brought to you by DeNunaLawFirm.com. All 3 judges scored the fight 30-27, declaring a winner by unanimous decision, Pedro Lopez.
Good sportsmanship there by Caden Adkison. Pedro Lopez getting that win, returning back to fighting. Good to see him back in the cage. Can't wait to see him again. That leaves us with one more amateur fight. Let's meet our next fighter.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Cade Foradory.
Cade Foradory, 4-time here inside the Fury Amateur Series cage, riding a 3-fight win streak. Got a really tough win back in March at Fury FC 88 over Zeke Cates. Remember that fight? We were so excited to watch it because it was a showdown between 2 young prospects, and Cade really had a chance to showcase his whole game that fight.
Yeah, and this is one of those guys that lost his debut again. Now is on a 3-fight win streak, and it's looking like a real problem in this 145 division. You know, they're really high on him over there at 10th Planet in Austin. Dallas Dodd came over and talked to us a lot about him earlier and was really, really high on this guy.
Yeah, I was so happy. I got to go train with those guys, and man, such a great room. Actually, Cade was my drilling partner. I mistook him for a welterweight. He's so big. His opponent tonight is so big. I don't know how he or Brian James makes 45, but this truly is like our amateur main event of the evening. I cannot wait.
Yes, they're so high on him, as you mentioned, at 10th Planet. He's a guy that has done it all in terms of ways he's won, right? I mentioned the Zeke Cates fight. That went the distance. You've seen him get really stunning finishes. So he has that toolkit, and he is inside, so let's meet his opponent.
Please welcome Brian James to the red corner.
Brian James, 9th time inside the cage as an amateur here at Fury Amateur Series, riding a one-fight losing streak, and has really trying to figure things out now. 1-3 in his last 4, but he has so much ability, so much potential.
Yeah, this is a great matchup. Two young guys, about the same height, about the same size. Both of them big 145ers. Both of them highly skilled. And yeah, trying to figure it out. Went 4-0, started 4-0, 1-3 since. But this amateur record really is kind of a feeling out period for the rest of your career, and he's got a good one ahead of him, I think.
Yeah, and of those 3 losses, one of them was to my guy, Omega level Josh Thomas, who is a beast, has gone pro and has been successful since. The other one to Austin Aronde, one of the best black belts you'll ever see inside the Fury cage, and that was as an amateur fight. Brian James, another really big guy. It's cool. He's a southpaw. Cade is a southpaw. I think they both prefer to strike, end up grappling a lot, but this really is such an intriguing match. And again, I don't know how either one of these guys makes 145.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see our tail of the tape coming up here in just a second. These guys are tall, 6'1" and 6 foot even for 145ers. See that reach advantage there for Cade Foradory, 72 inches. Our tail of the tape brought to you by Live Oak Texas Vodka. Both fighters are inside. Let's get our introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest brought to you by Live Oak Texas Vodka is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury Amateur Series Featherweight Division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 6 feet tall, and he weighed in at 146.4 pounds. Fighting out of Austin, Texas, his amateur record stands at 3 wins, only 1 defeat. This is Cade Foradory. And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, and he weighed in at 146 pounds even. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of Long Island, New York. His amateur record stands at 5 wins, 3 losses. This is Brian Hitman James. Your referee in charge, JJ Ferraro.
All right, let's get this one going. JJ Ferraro inside, Foradory blue gloves, James in the red gloves, and we are getting right to it.
Yeah, James opening up fast. Oh, kicking, punching, and shooting all within about 10 seconds. Now, we saw Foradory fight Ezekiel Cates, who was also a southpaw, and he really tore up that lead leg with a classic low kick, which southpaws don't see that often against other southpaws. Because usually fighting the orthodox fighter, that's the kick I'm talking about.
And we know Andrew Craig is taking a break from that 18 holes of golf he's playing today with his family out in Birmingham, Alabama, to watch Cade Foradory.
Ooh.
Slipped from Foradory, but he got up quick. James is one of those guys, he got better in the cage. I don't think he really knew his style until about maybe 5 or 6 fights deep. He'd almost always end up crashing and clinching. Man, his first 4 fights were all split decisions, if I'm not mistaken. And it was really after that he started to find the range of his jab and the cadence of his boxing. I think he's done his best work in the cage with his striking.
He'll still show signs of that crash style that makes him so hard to read. But yeah, it was that jab that opened things up, Alex, for sure. And then for Cade Foradory, it's just everything is, wherever you take him, he is comfortable being there. Oh, man.
Good sit down on the left hand, yep. Oh, Brian James returns.
And good head movement there by Brian James, because that was a dangerous punch.
We'll see if Foradory maybe uses that lead right hook to set up a left high kick, because James did just try to catch that low kick with his hand. Just can't be risky to do. He's also super tall. I don't know if head kicking on the list of things to do. He caught it again. Used that to enter into a takedown. I think they anticipated a heavy low kick game. It was a good lift from James, but Foradory just did a great job on getting his feet back to the ground at the perfect time as he digs the underhook. The angle's pretty sharp for James, though, so that underhook's a bit shallow, but it's still doing its job.
And we break in center. We go. Big kick there for Foradory. Seconds left in round one.
Oh man, both guys landed in that exchange. James really came forward and threw a big combo. Landed a few shots, but Foradory did land a good counter shot.
Man, good first round there.
Yeah. I think just the intensity of James and I think his volume probably gave him that round, right?
Yeah, I think Cade might have been a little surprised at how aggressive he was consistently and constantly in that first round. I mean, James never stopping with the pressure. Foradory landing a couple of good shots here, just missing with that left.
Yeah, Foradory had really good quality, but James had the quantity.
Yeah, very entertaining first round. Another tough one to call. But you're right, Alex, a lot of volume from Brian James. Foradory staying cool. Never really lost his head anywhere in the first round. Didn't make any mistakes, so really, really close first round.
All right, let's see what adjustments were made.
Oh, wow. Pay attention to that left hand of Foradory, just the straight left, has been very accurate. Sparse, but accurate. Oh man, notice the right quad there of Brian James. Got a big old bruise on it.
Yeah, ooh, big left hand there from Foradory. I think that may have hurt. He hit him again.
Yeah, another one connects. Brian James throwing back another big kick, connecting there on that right hamstring.
I mean, unless southpaws are actively training with a lot of southpaws, which I'm fighting a southpaw next week, I had to find my training partners. It's not as rare, or it's not as common as you'd think. Usually that lead leg is not as conditioned.
Oh yeah, that is looking brutal.
Yeah, that's a thick, deep bruise on the thigh there.
And it's only from two really good ones.
That looks like a tattoo. That's how bright red it is.
Almost more to the body.
Halfway through round two.
Left hand lands again for Foradory.
Foradory doing a good job really maintaining the range.
Catching the kick and going in for some punches was Brian James.
Guys anticipating, looking for a counter here. Oh, it's a slip.
But James looking for that inverted triangle. I mean, if he can grab his shin with his right hand. Oh, nope, Foradory knew that. He got his head out very fast. Those are such weird submissions to lock up and then even finish. They're uncomfortable.
By the way, just going back to that last kick before we got to the ground, as soon as Foradory connected, James didn't, I mean, you could tell it hurt.
Yeah.
That one, it is hurting him.
You can tell the Brian James fight camp knew Foradory was going to try to low kick him because he's caught and countered a few times.
Yeah, what an odd position to punch from, but very effective.
I mean, it's funny, James threw an up kick that, if had landed, would have been illegal, but his heel kind of missed. And you saw Foradory was like, well, that was illegal. And they're up to the same thing, I think, because it missed.
We have seen some interesting positions from our amateurs today. 8 fights. This is our 8th one, excuse me, in the Fury Amateur Series.
Yeah, you see that left hand is continuing to land for Foradory. And then a nice 1-2 combination from Brian James. I thought it was a punch that may have landed, but that was he caught his leg and tripped him there. So Foradory ends up on top.
Yeah, it's interesting because the kicks are doing probably the most damage for Foradory, but they're also getting him in a little trouble when they're getting caught. But I don't think that's one of those things you ask. I mean, he's doing good with them. I think she has to, try to be a bit more particular on maybe setting him up. But
how do we have the score so far going into round 3, gentlemen?
I think it's really close. I think it may be a round apiece. But it looks like both guys may be thinking they're down.
Oh my God!
Wow!
James somehow in the mix recovering.
Is this going to be enough? That is it. Cade Foradory.
Whoa! A sharp left hand from hell.
Wow!
I can't believe James was able to recover for in the guard, grabbing him and sitting up. I mean, wow,
man!
Whoa. Woo!
Foradory landed a dynamite left hand.
Let's take a look at this finishing sequence by Cade Foradory.
James' reaction to getting hit was bad. I can't believe he sat.
Yeah, that's a start.
Out. And then big shots. I mean, has him in the open guard, grabbing arms, grabbing the head.
I think right here is where he sees it as his head starts to go down, the arm starts to go limp. He just had to think he was out.
Oh, man.
That was, sheesh.
That was picture perfect.
A monstrous left hand.
Yeah, and you called it all night, Alex. That left hand was chambered and ready to go. Found the perfect counter for it, hit right on the button.
Man, at what point in the fight did it change? Because right after, when Cade Foradory stood over Brian James, it felt like there was a lot of respect. What happened, Alex?
So I just know at weigh-ins there was a face-off, an intense face-off, which I mean I get. I just don't think these, I don't think a lot of friendly things were said before the fight. I'm not too sure. Honestly, I'm not going to speculate.
Well, let's make things official. Here is Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee J.J. Ferraro calls for a stop to the fight. 14 seconds into the 3rd and final round. Declaring a winner by TKO, Cade Foradory.
Cade Foradory, man, what a knockout, Raheel.
Absolutely one of the highlight knockouts of the year. Congratulations to Cade Foradory. We're going to take a 5-minute break and come back with our pro prelims here, 3 of them. So we will be right here. Do not leave the stream. We're going to leave the stream up, but we are going to take a 5-minute break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Fury FC 97 prelims. Please welcome to the blue corner, Zachary Bradshaw.
All right, we are heading to the pro side of this prelims broadcast, and making his way from Edmond, Oklahoma, Zachary Bradshaw, 2-1 record, first time here at Fury FC. You know, started his pro career, Michael, from 2018, 2019, then took a little break and then got back in action this year.
Yeah, and kudos to Zachary Bradshaw for taking this fight. I mean, he is a true heavyweight, but man, the size difference between him and Miles Banks, and you know, talking to him, it makes no difference to him. He feels like he can go in there and knock out Miles Banks, and what a feather that would be in his cap, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the same build as Daniel Cormier, same height, you know, around the same weight, who he was double-time UFC champ. You know, granted, he had that Olympic wrestling in his back pocket, but still, like, this build has been proven to work at heavyweight. Now, if it was up to me, I would rather be the 6'9" Miles Banks.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't want to be a giant? But still, I mean, anytime we get heavyweights, every time they fight in the Fury cage, it's just such a fun treat for everyone. I mean, it's the biggest of the big guys. It's like the one true weight class. No weight class. Like they say, baddest man on the planet for a reason.
And for Zachary Bradshaw, comfortable going the distance in his last fight, actually went the distance, got the unanimous decision over Brian for it. So he is ready to make this a grueling fight, but let's meet his opponent first.
Please welcome to the red corner, Miles Banks.
Miles Banks, looking for that third win as a professional, fifth time inside the Fury FC cage. Coming off that tough loss to Omar El Salah, where there's no other way to put it, but he was dominated on that wrestling side of his game.
I mean, that pace was really heavy. That's a hard fight at any weight class. And like, I know Miles trained already had a great fight camp, but there are certain things you cannot replicate inside the gym, and that was an experience that he got to feel for the first time. It's funny, anytime I spar with Miles, I compare it to like playing a video game on hardcore mode. One mistake and it's game over. He just is, there's so much mass behind his strikes. He's quick, he's a good grappler. I mean, I'm a big fan of Miles Banks.
Yeah, Miles Banks, you know, not only that, he's a fan favorite because he is an absolute giant. When you watch him walk around here, you can see him in this place from every seat in the spot whenever he's walking around this place.
He's also one of the nicest guys in MMA. I don't know what took him so long, but he finally started watching Breaking Bad. I saw him post on that. I messaged him. I was like, you're in for a treat. Our tail of the tape brought to you by Howler Head Whiskey. See that massive reach advantage, 81 inches height advantage as well for the 29-year-old Miles Banks. And this is not a featherweight division bout. Yeah. Let's get our introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest, brought to you by Howler Head Whiskey, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC Heavyweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 6 feet tall, and he weighed in officially at 253.6 pounds. Fighting out of Jensen Beach, Florida, by way of Edmond, Oklahoma, his professional record stands at 2 wins, only 1 loss. Here is Zachary Bradshaw. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 6 feet, 9 inches tall, and he weighed in at 263.6 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of Queens, New York. His professional record stands at 2 wins, 2 losses. Here is Miles Banks. Your referee in charge of the action, John Shorley.
All right, let's get the pros going. Bradshaw, blue gloves. Banks, red gloves.
The inside leg kick there from Bradshaw.
Oh, man. That was a big right. Bradshaw absorbed it somehow, some way. Oh, big
Left
connect
hand.
there.
I mean, this is a wild size difference.
Yeah.
This looks like an old school MMA matchup. Just, I don't know. Hey, yeah, there's that big of a size difference. We're just going to do it. But both guys are heavyweights. And Bradshaw has figured things out, 2-1.
Yeah, very different. I mean, there's only 11 pounds difference in their weight, but two very different heavyweights.
Miles is throwing that right elbow a lot, and it's landing.
Big right hand.
Big
combo. That is going to be it.
And that took it around his chin. Wow.
Banks gets the finish.
Man, congrats to Miles Banks on that first round KO. It took one punch on the chin. It was a nice, almost Alex Pereira style kind of left hook with the elbow tight. Clipped him right on the chin, and that was it. I mean, wow.
And props to Zachary Bradshaw. He is game for a fight. Hope to see him back in here in the heavyweight division. But Miles Banks gets the win and the finish. It's quick work of Zachary Bradshaw.
Yeah, there's just so much power and so much leverage behind those punches. Man, it's just really difficult to withstand a punch that hard when it lands flush.
Man, I'd love to see the highlight of that left hook if we got it. But yeah, it was just a nice, Miles put some pressure, got his opponents back on the cage through those elbows. It was kind of like in a fleeting exit. Kind of nice, clean left hook, just right under the guard.
It's got to feel good for Miles. I know he felt terrible about his last performance and, ran out of gas a little bit there in the end. And, it's good to see him in here, against a 2-1 heavyweight that, like you said,
it's the first big punch. Bradshaw did a good job. Bradshaw throwing back too. Little shifted left hand there, right hand on me.
Oh yeah. That right
Watch
hand
the left
shook
hook.
him.
Bang, right there. It was almost like an uppercut. Just right on the chin. That was a beautiful placement there for Miles. Great technique.
All right, let's make things official. Here's Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John Shorley calls for a stop to the action. 1 minute, 10 seconds into the very first round. Declaring your winner by TKO, Miles Banks.
Congratulations to Miles Banks on that big win. And Zachary Bradshaw, good to see him here at Fury FC for the first time. And we'll keep things moving. Got 2 more fights left for you on this prelims broadcast. Yeah, we're gonna look for Wayne. Wayne accidentally left the cage.
Yeah. Looks like Wayne fell down outside.
Wayne went, yeah, he was hitting the south side. He's back.
Please welcome to the blue corner, Cameron Veales.
Cameron Veales looking for his first win as a pro. Coming off his debut loss, Michael, where he went the distance and lost to Dominic Herrera back in April. That was a really tough fight, but probably won the second round going back and watching it, and went 5-3 as an amateur. So there was a lot of anticipation for him coming here as a pro.
Yeah, there's a very particular way that it looks like. If you go by his amateur record, he was 5-3. All 5 of his wins are finishes. All 3 of his losses are decisions. So it feels like that if you take Cameron Veales the distance, you may have a better chance of winning, but I'm sure he has improved that. 5-3 is a very good record. It's a lot of experience, and then, looking for a first win after a pro debut, a very tough fight. He's still 25 years old, plenty of time to recover from that. We're getting a visit here from Miles Banks. Congratulations, Miles. Man, he is a large human being.
Yeah, sorry. I had to take my headset off. Miles came over here. Miles is just starting to collect vinyls, and I have a huge collection. So I was like, dude, I'm going to give you some to get your collection going. And we've been trying to get this exchange done for like 2 months, and I forgot him. I was in such a rush this morning. I forgot. I know. But, man, congratulations to Miles. That was awesome. Cameron Veales inside. Let's meet his opponent.
Please welcome to the red corner, Dylan Aguilar.
Dylan Aguilar, second time inside the Fury cage as a pro. Also coming off his debut loss against Issei Garcia after he got tapped back in June. You know, that fight, as soon as it started, got rocked with a big right to the temple and it went to the ground, and eventually Issei just used his strength to get the tap. But that was a big moment for him where he needed to see that and feel it.
Yeah, Dylan Aguilar has a ton of experience. You know, he's a 10-fight amateur, and 7 of his 10 fights went the distance. So he has a ton of cage time in there. And, you know, he's one of those guys you never know what's going to happen. He has a win as an amateur by jumping crane kick. So it can happen. It can happen at any time with Dylan Aguilar. I think he's an exciting fighter. I think he, you know, took his time a little bit too much, but man, I look for him to be exciting and try to come out with a quick start here.
We'll look at our tail of the tape. The reach advantage and height advantage going to Angel de la Muerte, the angel of death, the 20-year-old Dylan Aguilar. Let's get our introductions.
The following contest, brought to you by SheathUnderwear.com, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC Bantamweight division. Introducing your first competitor, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 7 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 135.6 pounds. Fighting out of Tahlequah, Oklahoma, today he looks for his first win as a pro. Here is Cameron Fire Fist Veales. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighed in at 135.2 pounds. Fighting out of Victoria, Texas, today he too seeks his first win as a pro. Here is Dylan Angel de la Muerte Aguilar. Your referee in charge of the action, Professor Joe Solis.
Cameron Veales, blue gloves, red for Aguilar, and immediately Cameron going at it, opening up with a combo.
Yeah, Cameron trying to get this fight over with early. Lands a pretty good punch and kick there to start off the fight.
Jabs there.
Yeah, double jab there. Keeping the distance. Snatches up the neck, but not able to keep Dylan in front of him. Yeah, he held on a little bit too long there. Once they pass your half guard, you want to let go of that head. Unless you're trying to, you know, just control the posture a little bit, but it's almost always just going to be, it's futile. You know, you're going to lose that battle most of the time. Good transitions though here from Cameron. Like he's trying to switch his hips over there to either throw up a triangle or switch to an arm bar. Dylan doing a good job of staying square, heavy on his hips.
Good top pressure here for Dylan Aguilar.
He's got to posture up a little bit and start getting into a position to throw some punches, but really difficult to do. Once you posture up and once you get back to throw those punches, if both heels are in the hips, he's definitely going to put some distance between you and either get up or you're in jeopardy of throwing up a triangle or even worse, an up kick that surprises you on the way up.
Control here so far for Cameron. Really hasn't taken any damage at all.
Nope, doing a good job of controlling that right arm or left arm. Dylan landing some elbows here now. And those elbows that cross your face, they're a little bit dangerous for the top guy, but man, they do such a good job of cutting the skin. If you hit those right on the eyebrow or right on the hairline, man, those almost always cut you open. Ooh, there's a triangle here. That's locked up. That's very tight. That's very tight. That's a good angle too. Cameron Veales has and he's got an arm bar here. It switches to an omoplata, but now to a Kimura. Very good chaining there. Man. Wow. What a beautiful sequence by Cameron Veales.
It's almost like Aguilar was playing with fire, not trying to advance in that position, not raining down any punches. It was only a matter of time before one mistake was made, and Cameron, the Cannibal Veales, gets, Fire Fist.
Yeah.
Cannibal's coming out in a second, right? No, Cameron, yeah, he is a cannibal. I'm all messed up. It's Fire Fist.
Yeah.
There's a lot of words in front of me right now.
Yeah, but anyways, locks up. Cameron Veales locks up this triangle. You see he goes for this arm bar. Dylan does a good job of changing the angle of his arm, but he still twisted his arm just a little bit. There he goes. He switches to a Kimura. Dylan tries to step over, and that shoulder is just about to pop out. It may have popped out. It popped right back in. Dylan looks no worse for the wear. Looks okay, but man, that was a good tap, because you rotate that much further and that shoulder's coming out, you're going to have a doctor put it back on for you.
Cameron Veales, Fire Fist, coming here from Oklahoma, getting the win. Let's make things official.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes. 2 minutes, 41 seconds into the very first round. Declaring a winner by tap out due to a Kimura, Cameron Fire Fist Veales.
Congratulations to Cameron Veales. Gets his first pro win. All right, that leaves us with one more fight on our prelims broadcast. Let's meet our next fighter.
Please welcome Cristian Lopez to the blue corner.
Cristian Lopez trying to get his second win as a professional. Started his career with that big finish of Oliver Jimenez, that brutal KO. And since then has not backed down from anybody. I mean, he has fought everyone, Michael.
Yeah, to be specific, Anthony Strapp, Kevin Rosas, Gabe Echeverry, CJ Jimenez, Rylan Melanson, and a KO over Oliver Jimenez, Michael Aswell, Justice Torres. That's the murderer's row of people that Cristian Lopez has fought. And I do not think he cares about record one bit. I don't think he cares about status one bit. I think he likes to fight and just started his career wanting to fight the best guys in the division.
That's what he told us. He said, I'll fight anyone. And he has a very strong Muay Thai background. In fact, was IMG champion. So yeah, he has that in him. But man, what a row of fighters. And it's not getting easier.
No.
With his opponent that we're about to meet in a second. Cristian Lopez is inside. Let's meet his opponent.
Please welcome Joe Hendershot to the red corner.
Joe Hendershot, 1-0, coming in looking for that second win as a professional. Got that debut win over Denzel Rosario, where he got the tap in round 3 back in June. And there's about 10 seconds left in that fight, Michael.
Yeah.
And Joe got the tap.
Yeah, Joe's a really good dude, really good kid, and he is really, really tough, highly skilled. And you hear his walkout song. It's been his walkout song since his first fight. Our good buddies at Five Finger Death Punch, Zoltan Bathory, we went to see him in concert here a couple weeks ago, and Joe actually got to meet him. So it was a really big highlight. Zoltan also a judo and jiu-jitsu black belt. Drilled a couple things backstage with Joe Hendershot, so let's see if he uses any of those things inside the cage tonight. But man, this guy is a freestyle fighter, and man, he is really good. His striking is getting better every time we see him. But man, once he gets to the ground, he's got a really tricky ground game, really good transitions. He's really, really fast. So Joe Hendershot, he's very, very tough.
We look at our tale of the tape brought to you by Space City Collective. The reach advantage going to Joe Hendershot, height advantage going to Cristian Lopez. Both fighters are inside, ready to go. Here's Wayne.
The following contest, brought to you by Space City Collective, is scheduled for 3 rounds in the Fury FC Featherweight Division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. This mixed martial artist stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, and he weighed in officially at 145.6 pounds. Fighting out of Houston, Texas, to date, he looks for his 3rd win as a pro. Here is Cristian, the Cannibal Lopez. And introducing his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner. This freestyle fighter stands 5 feet 8 inches tall, and he weighed in at 146 pounds. Fighting out of the Woodlands, Texas, he holds a professional record of 1 win, no losses. This is Kill Shot Joe Hendershot. Your referee in charge, John Shorley.
Blue gloves for Lopez, red for Hendershot, glove touch. Let's get this one going. Oh, man. Catch there.
I think the most deceiving thing about Cristian Lopez is how long those shots come from. We saw with Oliver Jimenez, he caught the kick of a world-class kickboxer and knocked him out with 1 punch and was able to reach him from a long distance.
Joe Hendershot gets this fight to the ground. Such a skilled wrestling background for Joe Hendershot. Stays so heavy on the ground, and this is where Cristian Lopez probably didn't want the fight going. But here we are. To his credit, Lopez trying to do everything he can, but heavy, heavy presence here for Hendershot.
Yeah, Joe, good shoulder pressure down on that crossface. Joe gonna probably slip over into the mount here. He's got that, and yeah, if Lopez gives him his back, it's gonna be very difficult to get out. Joe Hendershot, a rear naked choke specialist.
Toying with that arm right now is Hendershot.
And here's that leverage game that Cristian Lopez has. He's so long. Very good at positioning his weight.
Good work there for a second, and Hendershot now trying to rip that arm.
Yeah, Joe's got to get that left leg a little tighter. That does not have to be all the way around him, but that knee needed to be a little tighter in there.
Good work by Cristian Lopez.
Yeah, Cristian on top. And those long limbs.
Tenderizing that body a little bit is Lopez. Under 3 minutes now in round 1.
Joe positioning his hips over. Very nice sweep there from Joe Hendershot. That is that Gracie Baja, the Woodlands Jiu-Jitsu there, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful job from Joe. Ends up on the bottom again.
Yeah, good reversal there by Lopez. Doesn't stop moving.
Yeah, and Lopez, like I said, is very good at positioning his weight. Definitely improved his ground game here, especially his ground defense game.
Trying to trap that right arm of Hendershot.
Yeah, Joe tried that flower sweep again and took a few shots to the face for it. Joe looked like he was going to try to transition to that armbar, maybe a triangle. Reaching around for that Kimura. Joe needs to loosen up just a little bit, take his chest a little down. Instead of trying to pull the elbow up, maybe take the chest down to the elbow. Ooh, there you go. That's a deep Kimura.
That's
going to be very hard. Be very tough.
It's going to be
it wouldn't shock me if Joe lets go of this and just starts the ground and pound process here.
It looked like for a second, Lopez is off.
Oh, yeah, this is bad.
This is going to be really bad.
Yeah, he's over.
Oh, man. No tapping. There it is.
Oh.
A finish by Joe Hendershot. He was punching that submission for the last 40 seconds, and he finally got it. Congratulations to Joe Hendershot, second win as a pro.
Yeah, beautiful job by Joe. Good transitions, good chaining from one submission to another. Joe knew exactly where it was headed, knew exactly what he was doing. That's a beautiful job. As he steps over the head, man, you start putting a lot of pressure on that shoulder. And going the other way. Yeah, and you can see, I think the arm dislocated for just a second. Yeah, up at the shoulder, that will dislocate. And man, it is extremely painful when it does, and it's even more painful when you let go and it pops back in. Very, very difficult. Looks like Alex is going to do an interview with kill shot Joe Hendershot. Beautiful performance, beautiful game plan against Cristian Lopez, a known striker with knockout power. It's a masterful performance in there, beautiful submission.
All right, let's make things official. Here's Wayne.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes 3 minutes, 44 seconds into the very first round. Declaring our winner by tap out due to a Kimura kill shot, Joe Hendershot.
Alex trying to get dressed here.
I love it.
Alex switching from coach to commentator.
Impromptu jacket to put on. Kill shot. You always do so well. So, guys, for those who don't know, Joe's been training since he was 9 years old. He actually used our anti-bully system back when he was in middle school. He's a seasoned professional now. Kill shot. You know, what's the message you want to send to the fans?
Man, just train hard. You guys can do anything you want to do. So, yeah, just train hard, work hard. You can get anywhere you want to go.
Awesome. I mean, great performance. We knew your opponent was going to be tough, hard to put away. Man, you just stayed on like a hard, ace of a grappling game plan and execution. When do you want to fight again?
Man, as soon as possible. Just let me see the damage if I have any with my body, and I'll be back in the mix soon. I love fighting. I'll do it as often as I can. So, yeah, soon.
Someone who's truly grown up in the cage. We got some time. The floor is yours. What's the message you want for the fight fans?
Man, I just want to say, all the glory goes to God, and thank you to my family and my coaches and everybody at GB The Woodlands. I wouldn't be here without you guys, and I'm truly grateful for everyone. Thank you.
Congratulations. Everyone make some noise for Kill Shot.
Congratulations to all of the winners on our prelims broadcast. That will do it for us here. And we will head to UFC Fight Pass for a 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time as Justice Torres takes on Bilson Nedgurdoni. I always mess up his name. I'm sorry. For the featherweight title. We will see you on UFC Fight Pass in just a little bit. On behalf of everyone, thank you for watching. We will talk to you next time.